How has eclipse season been treating you? How have the last 2 weeks in general been for you? I know that for some of us, this has been a really challenging time with a lot of holdups, a lot of issues coming up, a lot of flare-ups. Yet here we are on the other side of it, nearing the annular solar eclipse in Libra with our new moon on October 2nd at 11:49 a.m. In today's video, we're going to go over what the new moon is bringing us, what we can expect from the solar eclipse energy, the themes of this time, how to navigate the retrogrades that we have going on, and how to work with all this energy that we're being presented with. I'm also going to share what to watch out for, what's encouraged, and then we're going to end with journal and prompts as always. And as a bonus, I'd like to also start sharing some herbalism advice for the changing seasons, whenever it's appropriate. I used to do this in the past here and there, but as my knowledge grows in this area, I do see the connection between plants and planets even more. And so I see how interconnected it is, and we have to talk about one when we talk about the other. Bringing plants into our journey, into our health journey and our spiritual journey is really just a win in all areas. So the quality of time right now is marked by big endings, big new beginnings, but also unexpected disruptions. We're in a moment where we need to be really brave and to really trust ourselves. And actually, sometimes there's moments where we kind of just take a step back and observe. But right now, it's time to take inspired, massive action. There's a lot of really interesting things coming up for us. And yet it's still a really good time for introspection and for seeing where we are in this moment of time and for catching up with ourselves. Before we get into the rest of the video, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be the kind of creator that can turn down sponsorships at will. I can look at the ingredients of a product or the business practices or the morals of a company, and I can say, no, thank you, but I will not take this offer. I will not take this campaign. And that's because of the incredible and overwhelming support that I have from you as a community, that you support and patronize my spiritual jewelry line, Alchemy. By the way, I am officially in that time where my rings don't fit my fingers anymore, so they are joining my amulet that I wear every single day. To say thank you, I want to give you a 50% off your entire order, even solid gold, until the 3rd at midnight. If you're not familiar with Alchemy, my little pieces of art are spiritual talismans that protect you while enhancing your energy, promoting your manifestations. The amulets are marked with Hebrew letters. These are the codes of creation, which is like putting a code into the fabric of reality, kind of like in Sims, when you would put in code motherlode. Amplifies your prayer and amplifies your desires. And when you invest in your journey by adorning yourself with these ancient codes and this high quality sterling silver, this thick 18-karat gold, you're also supporting me, you're supporting this channel year after year, and I'm beyond grateful for the tens of thousands of little alchemists walking around the world, wearing our talismans, finding each other through our little codes, little pieces of art that we wear around our necks and dripping from our ears. Thank you a million times. Thank you, my loves. So use the code Solar Eclipse to join the Alchemy tribe and get 15% off. If you have one already, you can still use the code. And this will also work on solid gold if you wanted to get something in solid gold, which is an incredible discount on that. The link will be in the description below. And if you don't know which amulet to get, we do have a quiz you can take that will give you a lot of clarity about what you need right now. So we have our new moon in Libra, and we are in Libra season. The focus right now is on harmony, it's on balance, it's on relationships. It's on fairness, justice in our lives, but also in the world at large. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus governs our partnerships, governs beauty, and Libra is also about diplomacy. So we're inside of a time that gives us a really good opportunity to balance out our connections. Now, in the Northern Hemisphere, we've also just welcomed a new season. We had the autumn equinox recently. Fall is upon us. Autumn is associated in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, with our lungs and our large intestine. And strengthening our lungs at a time where kids are going back to school and bringing home all kinds of germs, and when cold and flu season is approaching, is really, really important, really vital right now. So what I've been doing that I want to share with you is adding reishi powder to my morning smoothie. That is a really good thing to do during autumn. I'm gonna link the one that I use. I use this organic, wild harvested one at the Fountain of Youth. Reishi is an excellent immune modulator. It's a lung tonic, and it's also considered a longevity promoter. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's called the mushroom of immortality. Animal Monday calls it the Fountain of Youth. So I've just been making my morning or my afternoon protein smoothie, and I add a half teaspoon of reishi powder. And recently my husband got really sick, and even while I'm pregnant and taking care of him, I was able to stay really healthy and really strong. And I do think it's because I've been building up the reishi in my system. Reishi nourishes lung qi, it reduces inflammation in the lungs, it promotes restful sleep, it promotes peace of mind, it helps manage a lot of respiratory conditions, asthma, bronchitis, chronic coughs, and it's a really potent antioxidant. So look into adding reishi mushrooms, find out how you can incorporate it into your daily routine. And remember that if you're taking something on a daily basis, you do want it to be organic and clean and super high quality, because it's building up in your body, so you don't want any toxic chemicals in that. I've become really, really passionate about herbs and holistic medicine, and so I will be sharing that in future energy readings. Let me know what you think about that. Now back to the planets and to the stars. We also have the annular solar eclipse in Libra on this new moon. This is the divine opposite of our last lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago or so. Annular just means that the sun won't be completely covered. We might see like a ring of fire in the sky instead. But eclipses in general, they do act a lot like Uranus energy. They bring disruptions and they shake things up in our lives. They often reveal truths that we may have not expected. So this solar eclipse specifically can really act like a reboot for us, and it very much does feel like a cosmic nudge pushing us to finally take a leap into a healthier dynamic in our relationships. The thing about eclipses that I have noticed is that the energy is very much do something, it's time to do something about this, or we'll do it for you. And so we have to be brave and take initiative in order to make things happen the way that we want to, or we might experience being swept by the cosmic winds wherever they want to take us. So like, let's say for example, I think we'll be talking about this a little bit later. There's a conversation that you need to be having with somebody, but you're putting it off because maybe you're a little afraid or you're nervous of how it's going to go. If you don't take that leap and make it happen and be brave, the eclipses, the energy will make that conversation happen for you, and not always exactly in the way that you want it to. It might be in a surprising way instead. So because this eclipse is happening in Libra, we're gonna feel this energy most strongly in our relationships and also in our conception of justice and fairness. So I want to talk about some themes, and the first one is fairness in relationships, because this is coming up a lot right now. Relationships are really getting a spotlight this new moon. There's a lot coming up about finding your balance in your relationship. Specifically, the big thing that I'm seeing for this new moon in the solar eclipse is the concept of, is your relationship fair? Is your love relationship or your friend or your familial, whatever? I'm feeling it most strongly in romantic and friendships, but the eclipse is going to ask you, is your relationship balanced? Are you giving too much and draining yourself? Or are you taking too much and draining the other party? How does that feel for you? And you're being given an opportunity to really feel into that, to really analyze your relationships and see if there's maybe some sort of changes that need to happen or some boundaries that need to be reset, maybe revisiting your boundaries. Libra energy is very much about compromising, being really fair. It can definitely get into people-pleasing territory, but we are being reminded right now that like we matter also, right? And that sacrificing yourself too much for others, it's not working out so great anymore. And one way to get your power back into your own hands, into your own life, is to kind of move away from that people-pleasing mentality and decide, well, actually, if I don't look out for myself, then who will? I'm also deserving of the same time and effort and energy that I'm giving others. So whether it's love or work or family, I would expect some sort of shakeups that kind of force us to reflect on how balanced our connections are. Do the work ahead of time, and the eclipse doesn't have to do it for you, right? But this is a time to stand up for yourself in a way that feels still fair for you without losing sight of your need for balance and harmony. Just pay attention to where you're giving too much or even where you're not giving enough, right? That could be the other side of that coin. The second theme that I'm picking up on is one around communication, specifically in having difficult conversations that might need to happen. And even now, as I'm, sharing this, a conversation that needs to happen is coming up in my mind. And so I'm sure I'm not the only one, whether you're ready for this conversation to happen or not. So as I'm sharing this, I'm thinking, wow, if that conversation happens without me initiating it and I'm just kind of blindsided into it, that's not going to feel really good. I want to be empowered. I want to be the one making the initiative to have this conversation. And so this is the time to really prepare to do that. There's that eclipse energy sort of doing it for us if we haven't been willing to do it for ourselves. So the good thing is that the conversation might lead to something really good, really stable, really lasting. And this conversation might create some sort of stronger foundation for this relationship for the future. So that could be really interesting how that plays out. And the next thing that I picked up on is building something that lasts. So we have a Venus-Saturn trine. This can help us build something that is long-lasting and that is really meaningful. So for anyone in a relationship, this aspect can bring more depth, more commitment, emotional security. I've seen engagements happening during this time, or, defining the relationship, getting deeper in the relationship, getting more clear about wanting a relationship. But to get there, you do have to be willing to face anything darker or hidden parts of yourself that might come up, and even of your partner, of this other person. So maybe through communication, that conversation that needs to happen, if you don't run from yourself there, if you see what's coming up for you from that conversation, that's where the commitment and the security and the, okay, we're all on the same page is going to come in. So all of this is really feeling to me like we are building something more safe and more secure for ourselves. In order to do it, we have to face our darkness, we have to face our triggers, and to have conversations that we might really not feel like having. That transformation of who you're going to become after having this conversation and after getting really clear about what you need or, what's going on in this situation, the person on the other side of that is the highest version of you. You're stepping into this really empowered self. Now the retrogrades, let's talk about the retrogrades quick. We have 5 planets in retrograde if you count Chiron, which is considered a minor planet. This means that we are yet again in a time period where we can review the past, where we can reflect, and where we can reassess. It feels like we were just in this reflection stage in 2023, and here we are nearing the end of 2024. And it's once again time to look backwards, to pivot, to redirect, and to set our intentions to a more clear direction. But we're also really encouraged to take action once we do this reflection, right? Action that's oriented on learning from the past. Okay, so retrogrades always push us to look inwards. And these specific ones, they're really focused on how we heal our deepest wounds, how we let go of the past, and how we step into our most empowered version. So this eclipse and the new moon, with all these retrogrades, it's giving us a big opportunity for really powerful healing. So you might find that this eclipse helps you to kind of integrate and make peace with some old wounds or trauma, especially linked to how you feel about your worth and how you connect with your place in this world and your independence. So we're being asked to learn from our past mistakes, from past emotional wounds, past relationship issues, past family issues. When we learn from this, we can grow and expand in a healthier way. So the changes that are happening now, thanks to the influence of Uranus, which is in Taurus, trining Pluto, retrograde in Capricorn, this is going to be really transformative. There's going to be breakthroughs. It'll be disruptive, but deeply transformative. And it's going to happen kind of slowly. It's not going to happen all at once. The breakthroughs could happen around finances, around security, around your personal power, but you're going to likely have the internal shift before you kind of see it happening in the external world. On a larger scale, I don't know if you can tell, I feel so different every time I show up for one of these energy readings and I'm tapping into the energy and I'm a little bit more pregnant. I feel so different through my transmission, and it's not bad, but it's just different. And it's like I'm getting to know a new version of myself each time. So some of you pick up on it when you watch, and I'm definitely picking up on it right now. Anyways, on a larger scale, we're going to see themes of justice and fairness playing out in the world, because Libra energy is so connected to like law and social harmony. So we can expect shifts in political arenas, legal, societal issues, seeing kind of the way things used to be breaking down thanks to the eclipse, and new ways of doing things arising. And it's all in service of really creating something more balanced and equitable for the future. So that will be interesting. If you're keeping up with world events, keeping our eyes on the justice system, I'm personally looking at the Diddy situation. I think there's going to be the Trump trials maybe in October. It may have been pushed, I'm not sure. I'm expecting to be surprised with something that has to do with big legal situations on the world stage. Wondering what you think is going to go down. Let's see what happens. Manifestation. I always get asked about whether it's okay to manifest during the eclipse, so I wanted to address it. Remember that there's really no specific time for manifesting or not. You're doing it in every moment. You're creating with every thought, even while watching this video. However, eclipse energy really is more about releasing than consciously manifesting. Letting go of what's no longer serving you. Closing the chapter, closing the page. You might find that once you clear out these old things, new opportunities will come in, especially at things that you've been planting the seeds for a while. But this is a great time to really focus on letting go of unhealthy habits, of toxic relationships, and also outdated goals, right? Like, this is no longer serving me. I'm ready for something new. What can we be mindful of during this eclipse? Eclipse energy can feel really intense, so no jumping to conclusions, no making impulsive decisions. Just take some time to reflect and then wait to react until a few days after the new moon and eclipse, once you've had some time to process. I talked a lot about inspired action. I see the best time to act a little bit after the new moon and towards the middle of the month. I just want to give you your journal prompts, and I'll add these down below for you as well. Number 1, what emotions consistently come up for me in my relationships, and what are they trying to teach me? Number 2, what old relationship patterns am I ready to release? Number 3, where am I not being fully honest with myself or others in my relationships? What steps can I take to change that? And number 4, what do I truly need for my relationships at this stage of my life? And how can I communicate these needs clearly and confidently? Really quick before I forget, I have an Instagram broadcast channel, my loves, that you can join, and you can get little love notes from me, astrological updates like daily ones. I send resources, law of attraction stories. You can ask questions there. So follow me on Instagram at Leeor Alexandra and join our cute little community. And my loves, if you got anything out of this video, I just ask for a like, especially for me powering through despite the exhaustion. And also a comment on how you're doing, how you're going to navigate this energy, whatever is on your mind. I read all of your comments, even though I can't answer every single one. I read them all. I send you love while I read them. I send you so much love, and it really helps the channel. I'm Leeor Alexandra. On this channel, we talk about spirituality and personal development. A couple times a month, I like to share new and full moon energy readings so that we can get the most out of what the cosmos are offering us. Make sure to check out Alchemy and use code Solar Eclipse for 15% off your entire order. I love you. I appreciate you. And until next time, keep your vibrations way, way, way up. Bye. Love you.